Hello guys, welcome back. Okay, now let's start our chapter 3. So today quite a few things to do. I don't know, suddenly no energy already. Just week 2 only. Okay, let me see how you guys are doing. Maybe it's not only me. 58% of people think that the semester is going to end them. Whew. Yeah, because it's short trimester. Like puberty hit you like a train. Short semester hit you like an aeroplane. Okay, this is not normally how I like to start the class, but because it's short stem, so Hell Week, even our Hell Week come 2 weeks earlier. Now after this class, we finish week 2, then week 3 Monday, I will release your assignment. Then we will discuss what to do for your assignment in week 3. Okay. Let's end the poll first because before the result get even worse. Okay, now someone no aircon. Why you die like that? Pay resources fee, but no aircon. Hit you like a rocket. Okay. Hit you like an aeroplane. We only have 400 students left. Hit you like a rocket. Nobody left anymore. Okay, now today we will have 2 things. Actually, we haven't started our chapter 3 yet. There is one final thing that I will finish up for the chapter 2 in password cracking, and then after that we only start our chapter 3. Okay, now I can monetize long ago, but I didn't do that. Again, I like to remind everyone that this channel don't earn any money one, because I like to play Taylor Swift music, but she don't like me to play it here. She wants some money, so in the end I didn't monetize this channel. Alright, so we explain the concept first on Telnet and SSH. So for context, this is where we are right now. Last week we learned how to use John the Ripper to crack password. Now that is getting we are getting somewhere already. As you can see, before you take security, we all just use username and password. Now after you take security, you might have a second thought, is this really safe? Okay, now because we have seen the other way around, like when you are given a password digest, you can actually recover the password. So that is something that we learn from cyber. Now of course, another thing I want to point out before I start is, some of you might be thinking there are many things to study, like why do I have reading slides and then I have teaching slides and then I have lab so many things in short trimester, how do I handle? For other subject, maybe just one slide. Okay, now let me make this clear. The reading slides is actually containing a lot of words, a lot of wording, which is actually similar to what I'm showing you here. Now, if you really spend time and follow the video here, and then you go and read the slide, you will find out that they are about the same, except there are some things on the reading slide that I don't cover. Now, you pandai lah, if the thing that I don't cover, it means that because it's too many things, that part that I didn't cover in the reading slide might not be so important for this trimester. So everything that I show you in the video here, I will be using a teaching slide. That is the important part that you should focus on. And as you probably already guessed, the teaching slide, really you don't have many things to read because there is not many wordings. There is also no animation. So it is only useful if you have it with you when you are watching the video. Okay, so in the end, the main point is still you should know what I'm showing you on the stream, including everything that we are doing here on Try Hack Me. And this is the first time we are doing it this way. I know some people will say, just give me the slide, make my life easy. Yeah, that's true. That will make your life easy, but then you cannot hack anything. You can get an A in cybersecurity class, but if I give you a simple challenge like this, you cannot even do it. No use. After this class, we want free pizza, we want to hack NASA, we want to have so many things, okay? Which is why you might find why we have 2 versions of slide. Okay. Now, another thing is you should always ask questions. Anything to understand, just ask me on the chat. I will explain one after I finish one section. Yeah, and actually the nice way to say is because so many words in the slide, no people got time for that, so just watch the video in 2x speed. The reading slide is too many. Teaching slide is for the lazy people like you. Okay, now so we will now continue with try hack me, and this is on task 10. Okay, so task 10 and 11 they are related one. Okay, we already know how to use John to crack password. The example that we have seen is that you need to have a password digest first. Means that I need to give you a hash file. Okay, if you have a hash file, if you have a word list, you know how to use John, you know how to write the command, yeah, it's easy for you to get a password. Now, we can also do the same actually for SSH. So if you have already done your lab 1, I think it's in lab 2. Yeah, if you've done lab 2, you already learned about SSH. Now, if you already go to your lab 2, also you should now know about the basic Linux command already. I hope you know things about changing permission and things like that. Okay, so this one I need to explain the concept first using 15 minutes like that, then we come back here. Okay, so in datacom, just when you throw away all datacom nodes and then you say finally I don't have to see you anymore, now you have to go and find out where you throw the nodes because we have to revisit some concepts that we learned in datacom. So Telnet and SSH are very common network tools that we use to do remote login. Okay, so what is remote login? Is I want to connect my PC to another PC or another server which is in another place over the internet. Okay, for example, now I'm in Utah, correct? I have another PC in my house, and the data that I need right now is actually in that PC. Currently, I'm in Utah office. So either I drive back all the way to my house to save the file and then drive here again, or I can just connect remotely from the PC in my office into the PC in my house. Okay, so that is a remote login. Now, there are many ways we can do remote login. Just like TeamViewer, correct? We have learned this in datacom. So now we will just revisit and we want to see how Telnet is different from SSH. And that is where we stopped in our previous semester. And in this class, we want to go one step further and we want to know exactly how a user connect to the server if I'm a legit user. Okay, now imagine that I have a Telnet client here and a Telnet server. Okay, so on the left, this is the client, which is like a putty, if you remember, and then this is the server. Then, of course, you need to have an account before you can use Telnet. So in this example, I have one user account. The username is Tete, and the password is red. You see, this actually all the examples I'm giving you are kind of related to each other. There are so many hidden clues in this cybersecurity class that some people already find out. For example, the people who got rickrolled today, at least you try. Okay, if you got the first try, you click on the 4 card, you get the first try, means you're a very lucky person. Okay, now come back to this example. So Telnet is sent in plain text. Now we already learned what is plain text. Means that it's sent exactly as the raw data without any encryptions. So for example, now if this Telnet client now send a character A from the client to the server. Okay, so this one A go from client to server. It is going to be sent as is. So if I send the character A, I will just send A. Now if I send the character B, then it will just send B. Okay, now in the normal case, of course, this is fine. But if let's say someone in the middle want to attack you, so this pink color guy, now I think everybody see this color also, you feel scared. Okay, normally you don't have a good ending if you see him face to face. So now let's say this one here, he got intercepted, so he come to this guy. So instead of going here, now this thing comes to the attacker. Okay, so we call this interceptions, if you remember the word that we learned in datacom. Okay, and then this attacker is actually we call them a man in the middle attack. Okay, now if this happen, this guy here is going to know exactly what you sent because you send in plain text. So when I steal your data, I steal your plain text, I can see what you are sending and what you are receiving. Okay, so this is not cool. If this happens, we say that you are breaking the security goal. Now, if you remember earlier when we learned about security, we have this thing called C, I, and A. So C is confidentiality, I is integrity, and A is authenticity, or some literature say this is authorization. Okay, now again, the authorizations, or I think is availability. Yeah, it's availability. Now, in cryptography, this thing we cannot protect one. So just forget about it. Okay, we can only do confidentiality and integrity. So first, if this thing here, this message got stolen, then we already break confidentiality. It means that your data is not confidential anymore. Anyone or also know what you are sending and receiving. Okay, so that is the first problem. Now, the second thing that happened is when this guy, okay, he steal this data. Okay, now it depends on how evil that he is. There are bad guy, and there are bad guy, and there are worse guy. So in security, is most of the time it's okay if you work with a bad guy, because the goal is you work with a bad guy to fight an even worse guy. So that's fine. Okay, we don't really care you're a bad guy or good guy. In security, they are just red team or blue team. Okay, now, so over here, if he stole this, he can either choose to throw this away. So throw away means no more. Now, if I throw away, what happened is this server here will not get the data anymore. Okay, so he will be like waiting forever. Hey, what you say you want to send me something? Where is that thing? So he keep waiting, but no more, because it's already stolen and it's thrown away. Now, in this kind of case, we can call this a denial of service. It is not a true denial of service, but it is a variant of denial of service. Meaning that this guy here is waiting for something, but he's going to wait forever because that thing is gone. Okay, now if this bad guy is even worse, he is the big boss of all the bad guy, okay, mother of all bad guy, then he can do something even worse, which is he take this data, instead of throwing this away, now he will change the data. So instead of originally it's a B, I change it to a C, then I send it back to you. Okay, now what happened is this server or the receiver will in fact still get something, but the thing that he get is not correct, is already modified, is tampered. So we say that this one here is, although you're supposed to get B, but now you get C, you see. So you're getting something that has been changed, which is why it's always smart to use MD5 to check the hash value, whether you get exactly the same thing that you should be receiving. So now if this happens, we say that the integrity is broken. Means that now this data is not correct anymore. So the integrity of this data is lost. Alright? So there are two things that can happen. Like I say, either this guy get it, throw away, that is a denial of service, or this guy he get it and then he change the data and continue to send it to you. That is called a data tampering. So there are two kinds of attacks here. Now we want to change that, of course, so you will have to upgrade this. How do we upgrade? We use SSH. Alright? Now SSH is very similar to Telnet, except that now we will encrypt whatever that you are going to send and receive. So same thing, if you have an A that you want to send over, now you want to encrypt. So in SSH you will do something like this. This is SSH. You forget to change this, but help me to change in your slide. Okay, so now originally this is A. Okay, you see that this thing here is become a tunnel. This tunnel means that before I can start to send anything like this across, send back and forth, we have to set up a tunnel first, like a highway. Okay, so anything that go inside this highway later will be encrypted. Okay, and this highway is encrypting data using a key that is only known by the client and the server. So later what it means is, if I have an A, right? So this A here, I have to encrypt to C. For example, this is just an example, okay? So this one here, it will become C. So your A now becomes C. No more A. Alright? Now, then this thing here, it will go into the tunnel and it will go to the other side. Then come back here. Okay, this guy here will decrypt it back to A. Then you get this A. Okay, so encrypt and decrypt. A becomes C, C becomes A. Now, the encryption happens using the keys that we have learned in the very first lecture, which is one public key and one private key. Okay, now I can write this for you again if you are kind of confused or just too many things to learn. So we always encrypt using receiver public key. Receiver will decrypt using his own private key. Okay, so it's always work like this. Okay, see sender will encrypt using receiver public key. Receiver will decrypt using his own private key. So that is what we have already learned. Okay, so what I want to show you here is that when we have this channel, if this cipher text right now got stolen, okay, now this thing here you cannot stop one. Doesn't matter how good encryptions you use or how strong your security is. If I want to steal, I still can steal. There is no way you can stop people from stealing your data. Okay, unless like my ATM card, no money, then no people want to steal. But this one they can steal. So what happened is they got this C, but they will not know the original message is A because they cannot decrypt. Only this client and this server with the public key and private key set the key pairs can decrypt this one back like this. Okay, so this attacker cannot do this. So even he stole your data, he only get C, which is like it's not going to mean anything. It's just a cipher text. All right. So that is how SSH improves the security by encrypting the data that we send and receive. All right. Now that is actually what we already learned. So if you think that wow, this is cool, I learned something new. Actually, no. We learned this about 1 semester ago. So this starting from here, now this is new. All right. So we are going to see how we can log into SSH server. Now, for example, this example here, this is just the concept, okay, correct? I want to show you how you actually use this guy here to really connect to a SSH server. And in fact, the server is already given to you. Okay, you can try to guess where is the server also. Okay, now, question time. But the attacker can still send another encrypt message to the server, right? Yes, very smart, you're correct. So, this part here, the attacker cannot decrypt, but he can actually change to something else like E. Okay, then he sent to you. This is still possible, but it is not going to do any harm because this thing is going to be encrypted with this attacker key. And this attacker, even though, let's say if he use his own key, then you cannot open. That's one thing. So it's not going to make any harm. Let's say the attacker also know your public key. So you see, the sender will encrypt using receiver public key. So the receiver here is the SSH server, right? If this guy, okay, he know the public key of the server, he can also encrypt a fake message here. Now that one you can decrypt, and you will get the fake message. So that is harmful. Okay, it depends on how the attacker want to do lah. But you are correct. You can actually still change the data that we are trying to send. Okay, now here, let's look at how we can log in. This one is theory first, then later we really need to do one. It's very fun one. Okay, I do not know whether it's fun for you lah, because to me it's quite fun. If I learn this thing, the next thing I do is I will host my own server. Then I don't want to use Google Drive anymore. Google Drive only give me like 5 gig. How many they give you now? 10 gig, maximum 15 gig. And then ask me to pay $399 per month to upgrade to 20 gig. So expensive. Now, if you know all these things, you can set up your own server. No need to use Google or iCloud anymore. Oh, so the bird is louder than me. No choice. No aircon. See, I'm sweating. Only this fan here. Alright, now, let's look at this diagram here. So I have a client here and a server. Okay, this client, of course, when you want to log in, you need a few things. First, you need to have IP address, and then you need to have your user account. Okay. Why only 420 people today? Now the user IP is 10.10.10.1. Okay, the server is 10.10.10.10. Okay, now first thing you should know, to log into SSH, there are two options. First one, you can use a password like this password. This is what people normally do. Like me and you will use password one. The second way is to use a private key. So two way. Again, first is password, second is private key. Now, if you have done lab 1, and if you actually know what you are doing, you are actually trying to log in to your friend's machines using using a private key. No, I think you are trying to encrypt a message using a private key. So something similar. Alright. So we talk about the first example. We use password. So when you use password, the way you do it is you need to open a terminal. Then you type a command. Alright, the command looks something like this. SSH, alright, dash L, I think, yeah, dash L. So this is L, okay? When you want to log in using password, you use the options L, followed by your username. So let's say my username is Tete, as you can see here. Alright, so I will write Tete. This is my username. Lastly, followed by the server IP address. So the server IP is 10.10.10.10. So here it will be 10.10.10.10. So this is the syntax that you should remember. Okay. Again, it's not case sensitive. So it's SSH. Option is L. Okay. Tete, this is your username, and this is the server IP address. Okay. Now, if you do this, the server get this already, he will say, now you want to log in. You say you are Tete. Now you have to prove to me that you are Tete. So he will ask you, what is the password for the user Tete? Alright. So now you have to provide your password. Okay, when the client get this, of course now it's your time to type the password log. So now, let's say my password here is red. Okay. Just a very big password red. So now remember, when we send password, we never ever send in plain text. We have to hash the password first. So doesn't matter what kind of hash function, just remember that you have to hash. So for example, now my password is red. Okay, I want to send this password over from the client to the server so that they can authenticate me. I cannot send like that one, so I have to hash the message here. So I hash the password red. Then let's say it give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the hash output. Okay. Now this thing is sent from the client to the server. So now the server get this already. He will compare 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He check the password hash here. Tete, you say you are Tete, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correct. Correct. You are correct. You are a legit user. So now, if I match your password hash, I will say password OK, login success. So now you can go into the server and then do whatever you want, like upload a file or download a file, or even try to hack the server. Okay, so these are the steps that actually happen. Okay, if you use a password to try to log into a server. Now, in fact, this is not SSH. Any server that you are trying to log in, even like Instagram server or Facebook server or even Weber, this is what actually happened. Except that the command you don't have to type if you're using a web browser. Okay. Now, question time. Do we need to memorize all these commands? Actually, yes. This is a very, very simple command. If the command you don't need to know, I won't spend time to explain. If I explain, means that you have to know. Okay. Now, even server side still need to learn this. I cannot read this word up. What is server side? Okay, if IP address is leaked, is it dangerous? No. IP address is, you can give people IP address, no problem. This one, anyone can know your IP because the security is your user account and password, username and password. Okay, so that is fine. Right now, this is done. I show you the second way. How can I log into the server without even need to type any password? Do you think it's possible? Yes, it is actually the better way. Okay, so now, if you use a private key, what actually happened? First thing, all this username and password, this password you don't care anymore because now you have a key. The key will be the thing that show or validate your authenticity. It means that it will authorize you. You are the right person. Okay, now, this is very important. I hope you get this. Every time you use SSH, you have a key pair. Just like any asymmetric cryptography, you have a public key and a private key. Now in Lab 1, you also generate an RSA key pair, and there you have a private key and a public key as well, if you remember. Okay, just 1 week ago, should remember. Now, this is what it looks like. Every time you generate a key, it gives you 2 keys. Okay, this is called ID RSA. Remember the name, even the name is very important. This one, if you see this one, this is the private key. Okay, the other key is called the public key. So it's ID RSA.pub. So this one always appear. If you ever use a public key cryptography, they always come together. They are like a couple, bread and butter. Remember, cannot separate one. So this is one set. Okay, now remember, if you see the name here got a .pub behind, this is the public key. Without a .pub, that is the private key. Okay, now first thing is this public key, you have to give it to the server. So this thing now will go to the server. Okay, go inside. The theory is that if the server have your public key, okay, for example, this server he have your public key, then you can use your private key to log into this server without have to type any password. Okay, so again, if your public key is inside the server, then you can use your private key to automatic login. No need to type password. Okay, now to give you a better example, let's say I am Taylor Swift. Okay, Taylor Swift user account is Tay, and now I want to use SSH using a login using a key. So first thing, this is Taylor Swift public key because you see .pub here. Then Taylor Swift private key is here. So again, must be one pair one. Okay, now, then first thing, why lagging man? Should be okay ma? No lagging ma? Okay, let me finish this. Let me finish, then I take your question. Okay, now step 1. This key must give to the server. So this one come inside here. Okay. Now if this one come inside here, then actually in fact you will have something like this tay.pub. Okay, now this thing, all this public key is kept under a folder we call authorized key. Okay, now every Linux machines or every server have this folder by default, and this is where we keep all other people public key. Because you have to know this is the server. Server is not just designed for you one people to use. I need to support 50 user, 100 user. So if I have 100 user, which all want to use key to log in, then all of their 100 public key must be kept inside a folder. And that folder is called authorized keys. Okay, so now if I move here, this one go into tay.pub. See, now the public key is added to the server. So what I said just now, if this public key is here, I can use this private key to log in. No need to type password. Okay, so this is what it means. First, Tay will try to establish a connection to the server. Now the command is SSH. This time is dash, the option is I. Just now is L. L is you put the name. I is you put the key file. Okay, then the next parameter is your key name. So this is my private key, the key name. So for example here is Tay private key. For example only. Later I show you a real command on Linux. Okay, so this is your private key name. Here and here. Alright. Then the next parameter is you have to type your username. So my username here is Tay. Okay, so I will have to write Tay at. Now you put the server IP. So server IP is 10.10.10.10. So 10.10.10.10. So that is the full command here. So again, SSH-I option -I, so that you can put your private key file here, and then go to this server using the username Tay. So Tay at 10.10. This one is very similar like your email. For example, you will say something like avomax@gmail.com. So it's the same thing. You see, you have a username here, and then the server is here. Now it's Gmail because we use DNS to resolve. Actually, this can be an IP like this. If Gmail server is 1.1.1.1, so it's the same thing. Okay, so now you already have. Okay, this guy, why keep clicking this guy? Okay, so this is how you set up a connections. So when the server get a request, now he will want to validate whether you are legit or not. So what the server do next is he will send a message back asking you to prove a challenge. Now you will have to solve a challenge. Now what he do is, let's say set challenge P. Okay, for example, P is a text that you have to encrypt to show that you are legit. Okay, so the challenge is P. Now you need to encrypt. So now this server here, he encrypt P using tt.pub. Okay, so now let's say this is a challenge here. He will take the public key inside the authorized key, which is just now we already give to the server. Okay, he encrypt. So if I use tt public key to encrypt this one, only tt who have this private key can decrypt. So the idea is I will now send this challenge back. If this client who claims to be tt can decrypt this challenge using the private key that only tt should have, then we can be sure you are the right owner. Okay, so now this challenge is sent back. So for example, the challenge can be something like this. It can look something like this. Okay, so you see, I have a challenge P. I encrypt using tt public key. I get a ciphertext C. So I get a C. So what tt do next is, of course, I'm the real user. I will prove it. Now I will decrypt C using tt private key, and then I will get back P. Okay, this is what I will do. I will use my private key now to decrypt so that I get back P, and I send the P back to the server. If the P receive back, if the server receive back P, then you know, oh, this one I give you a challenge P, you can solve it, so you are the right owner. So when these two things, decryption and encryption, is completed, then the server will allow you to log in, and the last message will be almost the same, like, okay, challenge solved, log in. Okay, then you can log into the server. So you see, over here, I never type anything except the first command. I never type my password or anything else because no need. If I have this key, the private key, I can solve the challenge that's encrypted using this public key, so definitely I can get it. Okay, now if you are clear, question time. Okay, can I obtain location through IP address? Yes, it's very easy to get, like what I show you in Datacom. Use the GeoIP database. Without any password means no authorization. No, like you see here, you don't even have to type password, you will automatically log in. Okay. Hack system to get good result. No need to waste your time. The exam is so easy. Just hack pizza, that's better. Is it possible for two people to have the same public key? Not possible. Public key will be different for every user. Okay, you will not generate the same public key. Okay. The hacker will know the combination when sent back. The hacker will know the combination. Okay, now I don't really get these questions because there is no hacker here. So you are saying that, let's say someone in the middle try to pretend that he is tt. Is it possible that he can go in? No, cannot one, because you definitely need this file. You don't have this one, cannot log in one. Okay, how to know the private key? Private key cannot know. Private key only you yourself can know. Okay, so this one cannot let anyone know. This one can give to everyone. Public key. Private key must keep secret to yourself. Now, if your question is how I get this one, is by generating the RSA key. You've done this in lab 1 already. Okay, so I will not explain how you get these two keys, but you just assume that you already have both of these keys. Okay, how they know TT private key but they don't have? Okay, this one here, they definitely do know TT private key. Okay, when we type this command here, we don't actually send the whole private key over. Okay, in case you are confused, let me clarify. This thing here will not be sent. I'm just sending a small part of this key so that he know that I'm TT, and then the server will give me a challenge encrypted using this TT public key. So this thing is in fact never sent to the server. Okay, so how do they know TT private key? That is why we have this thing. You don't want to know TT private key. No one can know. Only TT herself can know. But you see, here I solve a challenge. I never send my key. I just use my key to solve this challenge. Encrypt P using TT public key become a ciphertext. Decrypt the ciphertext using TT private key become back the plain text. I solve the challenge to prove. I only send back the result of the puzzle. I never really send my private key over. Okay? So, wow, so happy now finally got questions. Don't talk to myself anymore. Okay, how to make the public key inside the server? This one is general. How to get this one? This is a very good question. So is this SSH? Now we have a new band here, SSH. Later I use John to find out who is SSH original name. I can reverse engineer. Okay, but this is a very good question. How this thing come here? Okay, got light mode and dark mode. I tell you the light mode. Light mode is the good guy. Okay, if you are legit, for example, you are supposed to go into the server, then the admin will ask this key from you. Then he will copy the file inside this folder, authorized key. Administrator will do this. Okay. Now, actually, hacker can also open a connection using a netcat. We call this a reverse shell. I'm going to show you how to do this in chapter 5. You can open a connection without the admin knowing, and then you siphon your key inside. Also can. Then suddenly you can log in already. So there are the original correct way. The admin give it to you, take it and put in, or you like quietly put it in. Also can. So there are two ways. Okay. The decryption process is done automatically. Yes. You don't have to do anything. This SSH will take care of all the encryptions and decryptions. Okay. Is it possible that the private key will be leaked out? Yes, it is actually possible. Let's say if I manage to get into your system, I can also go to your one folder. The folder is called .ssh. Okay, I can write this down for you. So every machine here got one folder called .ssh. All our keys keep inside here. Now, if I can log into your PC, then I will go to this file and then I can steal this. Okay, it's actually possible. But never mind what people steal, just make a new one. Okay. Now, how server know private key whether it's correct or not? Okay, this is a good question, Kim. The way I know whether this is correct or not is by solving this challenge. Because if I can solve this challenge using this private key, means that this key is correct. Because this challenge is encrypted using TT public key, that means this challenge can only be solved using TT private key. Okay. To ensure high security, will the private key and public key change from time to time? Yes, Jeremy, this is a good idea. Definitely, we always update the RSA, but actually some company they don't care, because the truth is, for me to crack the key, it will take me about 6 months to 1 year. So if you change your key every 6 months, it's actually quite safe. But you don't change also never mind one, because it's very, very hard to crack SSH. I mean RSA, not SSH. RSA is very hard to crack. Okay, what if the middleman capture both the plain text and the ciphertext? So Ku say that what if the middleman get the P value and then send back? Can the middleman go in? Yes, can. Which means that if the attacker Okay, in the middle. He stole your P. So I have one P here. Let me write here P. Okay, this thing here supposed to go here. But he stole this. Then he sent to the server. Can he go in? Yes, can. So this one, sometimes it happens. Okay, but the good thing is, this thing here is also kind of encrypted actually. So when, I think it's actually encrypted or not. I'm not very sure about that, but possibly they are encrypted. But even if they are not encrypted, then yeah, too bad lah. If people steal this P, they can still get in one lah. Okay, nothing is 100% sure. Perfect one. Okay, will that even have a master key? What kind of master key you mean? That key that unlock all the girls' heart, that is master key. That one I don't have. I'm still finding that key. But no master key, only public key and private key. Okay. Sometimes we need to click the picture to log in. It's also a challenge. Oh, Abun, that is a CAPTCHA challenge. That is a different challenge. That is to prevent bot attack. That one later I will show you. Okay, if the attacker attack the server, the private key will also be stolen. Okay, so Zhi Chong is asking if the attacker attack this server, the private key will be stolen. No, the server don't keep private key one. The server only keep public key. Private key only the user itself keep. So here don't have private key one. If you attack the server, you can get all the public key only, which is supposed to give to people anyway, so it's fine. Okay. Now, if the user exchange the password, the old password will disappear, replace current key or add on. So if user exchange password, the old password will disappear. You mean the user change password? Okay, the key and the password is not related. Okay, key is key, password is password. It's totally two different things. If I change the key, the password can still be the same. If I change the password, the key can still be the same. Okay, if the hacker know the challenge, why cannot crack the key? Cannot crack, you cannot solve the challenge without this private key. But if you know this public key, can you crack and find this private key? This is a good question. Can you crack a public key to a private key? Cannot. It's not possible. It will take you too long, which is why this is safe. Okay, don't worry, this is safe. Cannot crack a private key. Okay. How many people is lagging? Why Unify is like that? Let me ask and see how many people is lagging. But we can cheer, no problem. I don't know, later we cannot finish, then we do until 8 o'clock. Hiya, very lag very lag, then how? This lecture is so important. Never mind, I do a poll. So many people lag Here is showing okay lah, quite fast lah. Wait I cannot solve your internet problem. See, so many people smooth, 70% is smooth. Then we continue. Okay, if the one lag never mind one. Later you replay the video is in full HD. Not bad. But now you just listen first because you can ask question ma. Okay. No, I'm not using the mic. Too many things to control. Don't want to use the mic. I'm not singing lah. Wait, this is not a live stream for singing. No need to use the mic. Okay, now let's continue. So we already learned the concept. Now I will show you how I log into the SSH server. Then we want to hack the server. Okay. Okay, for you to no, a private key is used to decrypt. A public key you use to encrypt. But if a private key sign, correct? Private key is used to sign. Hey, don't confuse our friend here. Later more and more questions we cannot finish. Okay, now I want to log into server for you. This is not the Try Hack Me challenge yet. Now I'm just going to show you how to log in. Now, you don't have to do this on your side. Okay, it's just a demo. So even if you have this question in the exam, you just need to write the command here, but you don't need to really do it. Okay. Alright, so like I said earlier, there are two ways to log into SSH server. So for example now, if you know that my server here, okay, this is just an example again. So I have SSH server, the IP is 192.168.233.54. Okay, I want to connect to this SSH server right now. Okay, now one way to do it is using password. So SSH. Okay, you will need a few things. So for example, let's say I know my username is Tete. Okay, my password is AWO89025. Let's say I know. Okay, this is given to you. I'm just trying to show you a demo. Now, I also have a key. So I have ID RSA. This is a private key. I have ID RSA.pub. This is the public key. Okay. First example I'm showing now is I want to use username and password to log in to this server with the IP 233.54. Okay, so SSH-L Tete is my username. Then you put 192.168.233.54. This is the SSH server IP. Okay, now he will ask for the password. So I type the password, then you see I got inside because I know the username and password. So you see now I'm already inside the SSH server. If I do a who am I, you see now I'm Tete. Alright, so this is the first way. We need to know the username and password first. Okay, now I show you the second way. I exit from the server now, and then now I want to show you how to use a key. So the command is SSH-I. So just now is -L, now is -I, followed by your private key. So over here, I have my private key here, ID RSA. Okay, so SSH-I, ID RSA, the private key name, and then my username is Tete at. So you need to write the server IP now, 192.168.233.54. Okay, so the same command that I show you in the slide, now I'm just showing you in the real curly here. I press enter. See, immediately I get in. No need to type anything. If I do who am I, you can see I'm actually Tete now at the server here. I already managed to get in. And once you get in, you can do many things lah, depending on what your plan is. You can just use a PC as how you normally use it. So yeah, these are the two ways we can use to log in. Okay, so I want you to remember that you have two ways. Okay. Now, so why am I showing you this in a cybersecurity class? It's because now we want to learn two attacks on SSH server. Okay, two attacks. The first attack is called the key. We can actually crack the key. So now, you see here, this is a private key. Whoever has this private key can log into the server, correct or not? Now, whoever have the password also can log into the server. So the first attack that we want to show you today is using Hydra. We can actually try to brute force password. So that means I can try one by one until I finally find the password for this account is owl890625. So this is first attack that I will show you later, which is actually very true. Okay, SSH is so easily cracked if you know how. Now, the second attack which learn later is that you can actually use John to get password from private key. So this is the second attack. Oops, where are my file? Wait, I know you're excited. Just give me a bit of time. Okay, so this is the second attack. John, we already know John. We met John Cena last class. Okay, everyone is a pro now. If I give you a hash file, you can crack password. So pro. How many of people can do that? Okay, but now we can also do that for a private key. If I have this file, I can also get the password. Okay, now this one I will show you the second attack first. The second attack is on Try Hack Me task number 10. Okay. So wow, what happened? Manchester United. Why he want to remind me? Okay. A woman crying. Come on, Viking, don't do this. I'm alone here. Nobody here. Don't scare me. Okay, now if I'm scared, I don't want to hack anymore. I think to be alive is better than to hack people. Okay, now I want to show you Try Hack Me challenge number 10 first. So now we want to do this one, cracking SSH using John. Maybe. Okay, she has some unfinished business, but she needs password to log into her ex account. Now, this is how we do it. So we need two things. First is this thing called SSH to John. Okay. And then the second thing is, of course, you need to have a hash file because John only works with a hash file. Okay. Now, so the step is like this. The slide is given in the last slide. I don't want to open the last slide base time, so I will just write it here. Okay. So first thing, step number 1, you use SSH to john.py to get the hash value from private key. Okay, so this is step number 1. Okay, we use this program called SSH to John. We put the private key inside. This program will generate a hash value for us. Now we all love hash value, right? If I have a hash value, I can use John to crack the hash value to get password. So there are one more extra step. So in the previous example, I give the hash straight away. Now we need to get the hash yourself. Alright, so now I open Kali Linux. Okay, this one I want to say something. If you want to do this, you need to download task file. This one will give you a new text file. This one is a small thing. Where is it now? No need. Okay, I think you don't have to do. Let me show you, it's better. Okay, just let me show you. Then you can type the answer in. Okay, now I need to exit first. Then we go to task 10. Okay, I have this file here. Okay, this is the private key. Okay, now I want to use SSH to John. So I /SSH to John.py. This program will convert this private key to a hash value. Okay, so I put the private key name. Then I want to save this to a file. So for example, keyhash.txt. Okay, so I use this program. I put this as the input. Give me the output is the hash file of the private key. I press enter. Okay, then now you see I have this file here. This is the hash value for the private key. Okay, of course, if you want to see what is inside, also can. You just a long random number of hex value, and I think these are all hex value if I remember correctly. So it's really long. You don't really have to see what is it. Okay, now what after you have this thing, okay, the next step is we use John. Okay, John, you already know how to use John. Then this time is a bit different. We don't even have to say what format because John already know this is coming from an SSH key. So you just write the word list. For example, now if I want to use word list as rock.txt, okay, I hope this works. And then I want to crack for key hash.txt. Okay. Yeah, it works. So you see very fast. I just use John like what we have learned in the previous class, and then I choose the word list. So this again word list is all the file that contain all the possible password, and this is the hash value that we get from the key. So here we get the password for this user is actually Mango. So now what I do is I go back to try hack me. Then we can put in Mango here. So the answer is Mango. Alright? Okay, now we are done. So last one here. I will now... Why people call me this time? Yeah, in fact nothing is safe. After you learn security, nothing is safe. Who is this guy? Oh, pretty girl. Cannot be angry because she's a pretty girl. Don't lie, Ella is not you. That is Hebe calling me, it's not you. Why call me again? So desperate. This girl is so desperate. Cannot wait tonight. Shh, don't say. It's Halloween. Okay, now next one, I will show you how to crack using Hydra. This is even cool. Okay, I tell you this is like way cooler. If you think John is cool, this one Hydra is even better. Okay, now in this class I will not cover Hydra in very detail because we don't have enough time now. Why security in short Sam I also don't know. Okay, now but Hydra, just let me give you some hint of what it can do. This thing here, in fact I want to show you how it looks like. It looks really scary. Hydra Linux. Look at it. So many head. This is the logo of Hydra. Because it means Hydra can crack password using so many threads. It is really fast. Okay, this one you chop away one head, it grow up two head. So Hydra, as you can see, this one is not from the Marvel one here, Hydra. Something similar, but it's used to attack or to brute force password. Okay, now I'll show you a very simple example on SSH only. Why cute? This one also cute. No, and then if this is cute, then I feel bad for your son. This one can also crack any website. Instagram, Facebook, Weber, any website also can use this. Really one can use one. Okay, but I cannot show you that, not enough time. So I just show you how to crack SSH. Wait. Okay, now come back to this challenge here. So cracking SSH with Hydra. Okay. So Hydra is a popular tool to launch a brute force attack on login credentials, means your username and password. Hydra has option for attacking login on a variety of different protocols. So that means Hydra can be used to hack SSH, FTP, HTTP, any protocol also can. Okay, but in this instance, you will learn how to test the strength of your SSH password. Means that now I want to try to crack your SSH login. Okay, if I can know later this is your password, then I can say it is not safe because I can crack using Hydra. Okay, now I will teach you how to do this. Then if you want to crack any website, you can do it also. Now, why this chat turned into something not related to cybersecurity? How to sing is not me. Wait for TF Boy to come back. Next time TF Boy can teach you. Okay, now I show you how to use Hydra. If I teach you how to sing later, this video get more dislike than like. Better don't do that. Okay, now this one you don't have to do. It's just a demo. I do this on my side to show you, okay? So now I have the rock use small here. So this file here is actually another password file. So this time I don't use rocku.txt because it's too big. If I use this one, then we will just sit here for 1 hour to wait for the password to come out, then we say bye-bye. So to speed this up, I already created a new password file which is called rocku_small. So this one only have less password compared to the original rocku. So this one will speed things up quite a bit. Okay, now let's see how we use Hydra. So the command is given in try hack me already. I just explain one more time using the notepad here. Okay, the command is Hydra, okay, followed by your server IP, okay, followed by a -L, then your user name, followed by a capital P, big P, your password file, followed by the protocol name. Okay, so for our case, I will write Hydra. The server is 192.168.233.54 -L. Okay, I already know the username is Tay, right? Assume that you know. If you do not know the username, also can crack. You can guess all the possible username, okay, using the capital L command. But that one I don't show you. I show you that you already know the user. Then the password file. Here I write rocku_small.txt. Last one is the protocol. Okay, so this is the command. So simple, I can crack password. Let's see whether this really works. Okay, now I come back to my Kali here. I write Hydra 192.168.233.54. So this is the SSH server IP address. Okay, -L Tay -P rocku_small.txt SSH. So the last one here is actually the protocol. So if I had HTTP, it can be just FTP, or it could be just HTTP. But now because I'm trying to hack into a SSH server, I just write SSH. Okay, then you see in a while, wow, so fast I get the password is AO890625, which is actually correct. You see, this is the password that I give to you earlier. So you see, if just now I don't show you how to log into SSH, I can actually do this first. I find out on my own. You don't even have to tell me, no need. I self-service. Then with this one, I can do SSH-L Tay, and then I try to log into the server. Password is AO890625. See, I get in already. So that is how you can hack the username and password of a user. Of any protocol, in fact, works on SSH, works on FTP, works on TFTP, works on DNS, works on most of the protocol. Even work on website. Okay, now but the website one, I can show you. I don't think we have the time now, so I cannot show you really. Now you see your try hack me challenge. You can actually finish up the rest already. Okay, so you see, you use SSH to brute force. What is the password for Tay? AO890625. Okay, what is the hidden flag? Now I will show this to you so that you don't have to do this on your own. So the password, I am now inside the machine. Of course, for those people who are like legit want to be a hacker, you can do this on your own, no problem. Let me see what I have here. Now I have a flag, so I just hack the flag to get what is the value. And you see the flag is AO, you found me. Okay, so it's easy from here. Just come here, write the flag. Why I got two different tabs? Refresh first. Wow, see so many people hacking already. So the flag is AO, you found me. Then yay, all correct. Okay, that means you're done for challenge 11. And we finished already, okay? So this task 12, I cannot show you because if I show you, two things can happen. First, we cannot finish chapter 3. Second, later you try to hack Utah. So I don't think I can show you this one here. But don't worry, if you want to learn, I will add the video to your playlist. Then you can watch the video from your playlist, okay? In fact, do you know that there is a playlist for cybersecurity? You don't have to bookmark all video one at a time. Go to your Weber here. You have a playlist, okay? If you click this playlist, it will show you all the videos that you need to study for this trimester. Everything will be here in one single playlist. In fact, you will find additional video like some video I show you how to do the lab 2 or lab 3, okay? So if you do not know what you're doing in the lab, then you can actually come and watch some of this video here. Okay, so this is some freebies for you. Halloween trick and this one is called what? Tips and trick. I forget already. So anyway, yeah, this one is your playlist. You can follow this playlist also. Just add to favorites. Okay, now we are done for this one. Let's take a short break. Then when we come back, we go into chapter 3. Chapter 3 is even more fun because you can do this with me. And after this class, I want to find my next top 10. My top best 10. Okay, every year I find my best 10. So this is how I find my best 10. Later I will see who is the top 10. I have something for you extra one. Okay, let's go and fight other university. Don't fight our own friend. Okay, so see you in 5 minutes. About 7:20 we meet again. Okay.
When you're faded and alone and need somebody on the phone, let it be me, let it be me. When she leaves you in the rain and need a high to kill the pain, let it be me, let it be me. And I'll show you love the way it's supposed to be. Summer days, winter nights, ride or die, right by your side, killing time till you're ready to see. I'm all you need. You're a drunk, you're a fool. I'm a saint, so right for you. When the ship goes down, look in your dreams, that's where I'll be. Cause I need you, need you. And la 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 la. Just stay when you're faded and alone and need somebody on the phone. Let it be me, let it be me. When she leaves you in the rain and need a high to kill the pain, let it be me, let it be me. And I'll show you love the way it's supposed to be. And I'll show you love the way it's supposed to be. Cause I need you. And la. But I wanna just stay the night. And I need you. And la. Oh no. I won't let you go. When you're faded and alone and need somebody on the phone, let it be me. Let it be me. When she leaves you in the rain, you need a eye to kill the pain. Let it be me. Let it be me. And I'll show you love the way it's supposed to be. And I'll show you love the way it's supposed to be. And I'll show you love the way it's supposed to be.
You could call on me. You could fall on me. And if you want to, tell me what you gon' do. You could put it all on me. Speeding, 90 and a 65. Grab the keys and didn't tell them right. Just hit the road.
When you need me, relax and getting in my way. I'm flying down the interstate. Just know.
When you can't pull through, when life's hard on you, no, it ain't no thing, you know what
to do.
You could call on me. You could fall on me. And if you want to, tell me what you gon' do. You could put it all on me. You can count me 1, 2, 3. Make it easy for you, ABC. And if you want to, tell me what you gon' do. You could put it all on me. I walk in, help you get up off that floor. You ain't gotta be alone no more. Just know, when you can't pull through, when life's hard on you, ain't no thing, you know what?
So
You could call on me. You could fall on me. And if you want to, tell me what you gon' do. You could put it all on me. You can count on me 1, 2, 3. Make it easy for your ABC. And if you want to, tell me what you gon' do. You could put it all on me. Yeah, put it all on me. Yeah, put it all on me. Yeah, so tell me what you gon' do. You could put it all on me.
'Cause when you can't pull through,
When I shine on you,
you can trust me, baby. Put it all on
you could call on me. You could fall on me. And if you want to, tell me what you gon' do. You could put it all on me. You can count me 1, 2, 3. Make it easy for your ABC. And if you want to, tell me what you gon' do. You could put it all on me. Yeah, put it all on me. Yeah, put it all on me.
And if you want to, tell me what you're gonna do.
And put it on me.
If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast.
Waiting
To all of the queens.
Okay guys, let's continue with our stream. Now we go to the next part, which is chapter 3. And now we are going to learn something really, this is already new stuff, and this one is very important. I think I have to tell you something to wake everyone up. Okay, it's a bit of hard sell already. This thing that I will show you in the next 40 minutes will be in your midterm and also in your final exam. So better listen up. I have to give you some incentive to wake you up. Okay, now we done with this try hack me. You might not get 100%, but it's fine lah. Okay, now I will go to the next try hack me challenge, which is for chapter 3. So for the guy who haven't got the try hack me link, go to choose your card. One of the card will bring you to the correct room. Okay, now for the guy who already get try hack me, you can open the room. I'll show you what you need to do. And also there are slides for chapter 3, the new slide. How many people already get in? Wow, all these my top 10, always the same guy. Lunar Legion, COVID-19. Why 10 mark also make it? Wakanda Forever, 0 mark, still make it to the top 10. That means top 10 is not hard. Okay, now, chapter 3 is about malware analysis. So you cannot have a cybersecurity class that don't talk about virus, Trojan, worms, things like that, right? Which is what we're going to do. In fact, it wouldn't be so simple as what you can just find on the internet. Okay, we want to be go really technical and understand how they are actually different from each other. So you can think like, okay, this thing is not really a problem unless something happened to you. For example, let's say you have suddenly, why my PC is so slow or why my internet is so slow, something happened. So normally when PC is slow, what you do is restart the PC lah. If the internet is slow, what you do is you restart the router. Okay, but if let's say you got infected with virus or malware or something, then something bad happened. For example, your machine is always freezing, or some of the data gone missing. Okay, because they can do many different things. Or your file got locked and then you cannot open the file. Then you try to call tech support. Normally what tech support will do is they will just say, have you tried to restart your PC? Yeah, that is what they know lah. Then I say, yeah, I restarted, still the same, cannot use. Then sorry, we have to format your PC. That is what you normally get when you try to call to a tech support. It's not really supporting you. Okay, now so in this class we want to learn actually what are those things that are causing symptom like machine is freezing up, or you didn't do anything on the machine but you just feel like the fan is spinning so loud. So for example, midnight is Halloween, I didn't touch the PC, then suddenly the fan starts spinning. What happened? Okay, because you might be infected with a Trojan. So things like that, we want to go into detail. We want to know how they are different from one another. Okay, cannot be just like the China guy who opened the shop and then just say, your PC got problem because got virus law. No. Many different viruses. Okay, so we want to see how they are different. Now, in fact, if you ever heard of the word malware, this malware is like the big family, okay, of all the kind of infections that you might get on the machine. So you have heard of virus, Trojans, worm, botnet, things like Adware, or even ransomware. Now, all these things, because they are different, the way they attack is different, the way they infect is different, the way you detect them also is different, but they are all under one big family, which is malware. So malware is in fact the short for malicious software. Malicious means something bad. Okay, software means the software that we are using, not all the programs. So if you combine them, then it becomes malware. Alright, so it's like, although virus, worm, they are all different, but in Chinese New Year gathering, they still meet together in one same house because they belongs to malware family. Alright, okay, now the very first thing that you need to learn is how they are different. So if I have some questions like, okay, I got this thing attacked by this exe file, okay, it shows something like these properties. You have to be able to tell me whether this is a virus or whether this is a work of a worm or this is done by a Trojan. Alright, so you need to know how they are different from one another. Okay, so now if you are free, of course you can go through and read them, but if I read them, you're going to put this slide to this video. So I will just show you how they are actually different. I have a slide for that. Okay, let's see how they are different. Okay, now over here, what you see is a very general architecture of a machine and what you have in a machine. Now, this is a very generic layout, a very generic topology. If you learn OS this trimester, you will learn even more. Okay, we will not go into too detail about what is kernel space, what is user space, how they are different. Okay, just need you to know that this is something that we have on the machines, so that you can understand how each of the malware attacks and how they works. All right. So first thing, let's talk about where virus come from. Let me ask you, I think you are the better guy to answer me. Why do you think sometimes my PC is always slow one, always get attacked by virus one, then my friend always okay one? Why me? Why always me? Why virus choose you? How all these things started? Now, of course, hardware itself, there are benefits. It's not because I like Mac then I'm saying this. It's based on statistic that Mac OS has less virus or less malware compared to a Windows PC. That is very true. Okay, which means that if you're using a Windows PC right now, there's more chance for you to get infected than a Mac user. But the reason is because it makes sense. Like if I'm a hacker, I want to build a virus, and I have to choose between attacking a Mac user and a Windows user. Of course, I will choose to build a virus to attack Windows because there are more user base. There are about 90% of the people is using Windows compared to 10% of Mac user. So if I just build a virus to attack Mac OS, then most likely only 10% of the people will be are in trouble, right? So I want to have more victims. Sure, I will of course build something for Mac, which is why it's also true for iPhone and Android. Android got more virus compared to malware compared to iOS because Android you can install any APK you like. Now you start to get the idea, APK. Now you are right. A lot of chat here is saying coming from a link, coming from download from suspicious website, which is very true. Yeah. In fact, most of the malware actually started when you want to do something that's not legal on the internet. For example, if you download an illegal MP3 file because you like the music so much and you don't want to pay for Spotify, nobody want to share Spotify family with you. 3 ringgit one person, but I don't have any friend. Okay, so I have to download from the browser internet. So you think you get a free MP3, which play totally fine, sounds great, high bit rate. But what you do not know is, while you are downloading the MP3, you might also side loading some Trojans to your machines. Because nothing is really free, why would they give you a free MP3? Why? There is no reason they want to give you a free music, right? Okay, now, sometimes you go to some websites that you shouldn't always go, because that's what you need sometimes, and then there are many ads. Okay, you go and click on some of the ads. That is also when you get infected. Or you see a pop-up and then it says free iPhone 13. Now, because you want to impress your friend, you go and click free iPhone 13, then you are infected by Adware. Okay, so there are many source of infections. I'm just giving some examples of how they actually make their way into your machine in the first place. Alright, and even some of the things that I did it myself, also guilty, is when you want to play a game, you don't want to buy on Steam, right? Then you go to find the cracked version of the game, or even cracked software of any program. In fact, the crack will allow you to use the program because they remove the license key. I mean, they give you the license key, or they remove the trial limitation or something. But at the same time, the crack itself, that crack is a virus. Sometimes your antivirus might detect it, sometimes it might not, but the crack itself is a virus. Okay, that's why they give you the crack. It means specifically why they do it is because they want to have a way to log into your machines without you knowing it. Okay, so that is also called a backdoor, and we'll go into each of these attack in details in the very short while. Now, so let's talk about the first. Okay, so let me explain what we have here first. So normally, as you already guessed, most of the source will come from the internet. Okay, depending on what you just did, and most of the time also it started through network because you use the internet. Now sometimes it happens through hardware as well. So as you can see, it comes from malicious website, phishing website, gambling website has the most one, crack program. Okay, now so am I still online? Another source of infection is if you plug in your USB drive to an already infected machines, and then you take the USB drive, the same one, you plug it into another machines, then that is how you get infected also. So this malware can spread in so many ways, but mostly about 90% of them these days is through the internet lah. Okay, now after they get in, what do they do? They can do different things depending on whether it is a virus or Trojan or something else. Okay, so but most of the machine these days, if you buy a new laptop, they come pre-installed with antivirus and firewall. This one is for sure one. If you are using a Windows 10, you have a Windows firewall running by default. You also have Windows Defender running by default, and you can also install some additional antivirus for further protections. Okay. Now, like I said before, I don't really trust this thing because, to me, I feel that somehow the guy who make antivirus is the same guy who make the virus, so I don't buy this. And now, like what they promised, if you install antivirus, your machines won't be infected, it will not slow down, it won't be so lag. But every time I install antivirus, it is that time when PC become laggy, because it's kind of like a bloatware. So many eat up so much of your RAM. Okay, so I don't really use antivirus myself. It's not a good advice lah while I'm teaching security, but just telling you this is what I do. Okay, now, so normally when all these things first come in, they will have to go to the antivirus. So for example, here it comes in here, go to the processor, then it will be scanned by either your antivirus or your firewall. So there are two things can happen here. Okay, first one is that the virus itself or the malware is detected by either a firewall, antivirus, or intrusion detection system, or intrusion prevention system. Okay, now they are detected. Okay, now in this case, then the story will be very short, because let's say a virus, okay, try to infect you through the network. So he come inside. Then he got picked up by antivirus. Then just discard, throw away. A short story, then we can end the class here. But most of the time, virus is very smart. You don't always detect them. And to explain why, we have to, later there is a slide to explain to you how antivirus work. But now I want to explain how all these malwares are different from one another first. Okay? So this is we call this the first line of defense. Means that every time before you open any file, once you downloaded a file, it should be scanned by either your firewall or antivirus first. Okay, but as you will see now, it is not always the case because virus itself, they are really quite smart. So let's start with virus first. Now, virus is not the only malware. It's very popular, but it's not the only one. And a virus is actually embedding itself as a legit program. Okay, so guys, you can see the slide, right? Why suddenly the chat is so quiet? Am I still alive? Can you see the slide, right? Okay, I want you to look at this diagram here. Oh, okay, somebody is saying something. Okay, now, a virus, the most obvious traits of a virus is it hides itself into another program. So virus by itself, they cannot stand alone. They cannot be independent. You cannot have a file called virus.exe that run alone. No, virus must infect some other normal legit file before it can work. So you see the diagram here. If I have a normal program called Malware Login, so this is an exe file. Okay, then this is written in a C++ language. I think you have learned this. Now, a normal C++ language will be just all the C code. Alright, C++ code. A virus must find its way into one of these programs, and then inside the body of the program, they unpack themselves. So they must go inside the program code and become part of the code itself. Okay, so if you have a very long line of code, let's say 10 lines of C++ code, the virus must go in and then maybe starting from line number 5, it write the virus code. Okay, then your program will definitely become larger, but that is how a virus works. Okay, you have to be a parasite that infect another program. Okay, so as you can see here, virus is embedded as a part of a legit program. The program can be infected by downloading a modified copy or coded on purpose. Now, this one means that sometimes you get a program called Malware.exe, but this program might be a fake version that I have already added the virus inside. Okay, then that's how you get infected. Or I code it on purpose, means that I want the virus to be here. So when you use a program that you think is free, you're actually running a virus inside. Okay, now another third property is virus is dormant. This is very important. You need to click and execute. So as cool as virus is, if I don't click this program that has virus infected, it is not going to work at all. So virus is dormant. It's just sleeping there until someone go and click the program and run the program to execute the file. So of course when I click, I do not know there is a virus inside, otherwise I won't be clicking this. But this is what happened really is I click the file, okay, and then let's say I have a webber, so I download Malware Login. You see, I downloaded this file. So normally when we download, it's saved in the storage. Then I double click to run. So I double click this file to run the file. As you have learned from OS, this file will be now loaded onto your memory. Okay, so now your Malware Login is loaded onto the memory. Okay, now in your memory space, there are two spaces. You have a kernel space and the user space. Okay, very briefly, the kernel space is where you put in all your DLL files, all the daemons, all the things that is running, that is controlled by your OS. Okay, so you have Win32, DLL, all these things that you allowed to run as administrator will go to kernel space. Now this one is very restricted, means that we normally don't want any normal program to just run here, because in kernel space, anything that run here can access to the hardware directly, means that I can control the RAM. I can allocate some RAM for myself. I can write something to the hard drive. I can control the network card. So anything that is in kernel space has direct control to all the hardware that you see on the slide here. So that's why we only allow a very important system process to run here. Like when you ping some people, it's actually also running in the kernel mode. Okay. Now for the rest of the program, like our Google Chrome, our Word document, the Steam that we use to play game, the Notepad is all running in user space. Okay. Now Normally, when we run a program like a Weber login.exe, it will run in user space. It won't run in kernel space. It's too dangerous to even allow this program that we don't even know who is the source to run here. So he will run here. Now, it doesn't mean that it is safe. Okay, even a program that is infected run in a user space here, still it is able to do its works. So for example, in this case, once I load the Weber login program to the memory, it will run in the user space, and then it will execute the code here line by line. Okay, line by line until it runs the virus code. Then the virus will start to unpack itself and start to infect the machines. Now, what happened after I run this thing depends on what is the code in the virus. Some virus is very friendly. If you run a virus, it just print a message, ha ha ha, you are infected. So friendly, so it's not going to do any harm. Some virus, when you run it, it might delete your file. It might actually replicate themselves and then use up more RAM on your machines. They can do many things. So it depends on the code of the virus itself. But really what is important here is you should know a virus have to hide inside another program. But it's not really hide, it has to be integrated as part of the program. And it doesn't really work until you go and click the virus. Okay, now question time. Let me see some question. How can we remove malware? Too early. Now let's understand what is different malware first. Why so many social credit? Don't worry, L1 I scan for you. So the virus should be in C++ if the entire program is in C++. Not really, okay? In fact, the virus can be written in any language. Most of the time it's Python, but it can hide in the C++ code. The problem is, let's say if you have something like that, when you run, it will not execute. When you compile, then it might not execute. But when you already give people as an exe file, doesn't matter whether the virus and the code is running in the same language, it is still going to run. Okay. Now we go to the next one, which is a worm. So how is worm different? Worm is actually more pro. It's like virus pro max. Okay, because worm is stronger than virus in a way that it doesn't have to rely on any other program. It is standalone. Means that it can exist on its own. Okay, for example, see here, a worm exists itself, means that you can have a file and the whole file is actually a malicious thing. Okay, it doesn't need to hide, it doesn't need to rely on any other program. So a worm auto run. So a virus you have to click to run. A worm auto run. You don't even have to click, Once you download it, he auto run already. So worm is actually more dangerous if you compare to virus. Now, a worm replicate themselves and then it will in the end hog more resources. So what do we mean by this? Okay, now the way virus work is he just want to infect, try to find a way to get into a PC and then do something like delete your file or something. Now a worm is going to hog your resources. So let's say I have explore.zip. This is a very popular one. Okay, managed to find his way into my storage. Now I don't even have to click. Now once you are inside, what he do is he automatically replicate. Replicate means that make multiple copy of yourself. So you see now 1 become 2, 2 become 3, 3 become 4, 4 become 5. What is doing here? He make many copy of himself, cloning himself. If this happen, first thing is it is eating up your hard disk space because now you need to save more of this worm, which in the first place shouldn't be there, but now it is eating up your hard drive because it replicates itself. This is one reason why, I do not know whether this happened on you, but if you ever notice like why my hard disk always say low storage one, but when I try to delete file, I cannot find anything to delete. Most likely you are infected by worms. It's not visible, it's hidden, so you cannot really see them. Okay, now so just as you think it's done, it gets even worse from here because now they also will be loaded to the memory. So it load 1 copy here and like classic worm, what it do is, he will just make a multiple copy of themselves. Now I will also copy myself in the memory. So 1, 2, 3, 4, until your memory is full. All the memory buffer is loaded with a worm. So you see what it do here is, I take your hard disk space, it's bad enough, and then I go to load myself in your RAM, and then other program cannot use the memory because it's all loaded with all the worm. So this is like really, really dangerous. Okay, now worm, just as you think it is done, okay, eat your hard disk, eat your RAM, it even worse. It also infect your friend who is in the same network. Now for example, this is our lab, okay, N108. So people start to come back already ma. You can have physical lab. So let's say one of your friend download a worm into a PC in the LAN, in the same network. Let's say PC 1. Then this PC is infected. Because it's a worm, he is going to make many copies of itself. After the whole PC is loaded, he will infect another PC. So now, for example, I will load myself to PC 3. Then PC 3 also infected. Then PC 5, PC 7, PC 9. Eventually, it keeps cloning itself until the whole network, all the PC in the same network also get infected by worm. Then everyone also gonna eat the hard disk space, gonna eat the RAM. Okay, so this is how serious the worm is. It can actually infect your whole network. Okay, now if you ask me why PC2 and PC4 is not infected, it's because now our lab is having social distancing. So if no student can sit next to each other, PC2 no people using, is not turned on, so it's not infected. Okay, now that's why worm is actually, you're safe from worm if you don't turn on your PC. This is what you should do. If you know that someone got infected in your network, first thing you should do is faster turn off all the other PC, even your phone or everything. Then they cannot replicate. Okay, so this is why some PC here is safe, because social distancing. Okay, now that is worm. Then we go to Trojan. So social distancing is safe. Save your time from reformatting your PC, also save your life. Maintain social distancing, even though now you can go out and have party already. Third one is Trojan. Can we try the worm in Utah lab? Go try it. I never use the PC in the lab. I'm safe. Okay, now Trojan is a bit big. Okay, if you ask me, I think Trojan is a bit big because he tried to be like virus and tried to be like worm, but it's become half-half. So Trojan is very similar to virus in the way that it has to hide in another program. Cannot exist on its own, means that it cannot be Trojan.exe. Okay, have to package itself into some other program like a document file or a text file or an image file. But the way it packaged is different from virus. So as you can see here, the virus, when I hide, I will park myself as the part of the code. Okay, but as a Trojan, I just park as an attachment. Like I don't really have to be part of you. I just tumpang on you. Okay, you can think of this like tumpang. So virus is a program. You must write yourself into the binary of the program or the programming logic of the program. That is a virus. Okay. Now for this Trojan, no need. I have a file. Then I just tumpang as an attachment here. I don't even want to change the program. So the program is still work as normal. Nothing changed. Okay. So this is Trojan. Now, why Trojan want to tumpang people is because for him to go into a machine that is protected by firewall antivirus is actually a bit hard. Okay, but if you hide yourself in a program that is legit, then you have more chance to get in, to bypass the protection, because normally the way antivirus and firewall works is they check the header of the file. Means that if I have a file like this, okay, then they will check here. If this part here is clean, then you can go in. But maybe the Trojan is hiding here, then this is not detected, which is why Trojan like to hide inside another file. Okay, now this Trojan, or some people call this Trojan horse, gets its name from the Trojan War. Now, if you watch the Troy movie, okay, I don't want to play the movie here lah, then later we cannot finish, but go back and watch the Troy movie. So back in those days, all the cities are very well fortified. They have a very high wall, so you cannot climb inside. It's very hard to get into the city to attack them. So how do you get in? If you get in, then you can attack from the inside, then you can win. So in the Trojan War, what they do is the enemy hide themselves inside a very large building, a very large structure that looks like a horse. That's why it's called a Trojan horse. I didn't take art class, so this is the horse that I can draw. Okay, so inside this horse is legit. This one, if you come to my castle, I will open the door and you can come in because it is something that I know. Okay, but the enemy, they hide inside here. Okay, so this Trojan, when they see this horse looks handsome and cool like a unicorn, then I open the door, come in. After I get inside the city wall, I start to come out and then attack the city. That is how I managed to attack the inside of the city. And this is how Trojan get the name, okay? Because Trojan horse works something like this, similar. So we call this Trojan horse, okay? Something like this. Hey, don't laugh at my drawing. This is the best I can draw. I think this is, I never draw horse so beautiful before. Okay, now you know how Trojan looks like already. It's different from virus because just tumpang only. Now, then what is the other difference is Trojan normally is used to open a backdoor. So Trojan is not like a virus. When I go inside, I am successful, but I don't want to attack you like I delete your file or I eat your memory or I infect some of another file. No, I just want to open a connection. So Trojan horse, in fact, like Emotet. Okay, Emotet is a very popular Trojan horse. So what we do is we go from a storage to your memory, and then I want to open a connection here. So I will open a socket here. The reason we do this is I'm planting a backdoor. So you can think of backdoor as in a connections that I place so that the next time when I want to come back to these machines, it's very easy. Now, first time I want to get into the machine is so hard. I have to go through antivirus. I have to go through Windows Defender. I have to go through firewall. So many things that I have to go through, right? But once I'm in, the next time I want to go inside the same PC again, I don't want to go through the same trouble. So I will plant a backdoor. So this Emotet is something like a backdoor. And as you can see here, the next time I want to get in from the internet, the hacker is somewhere on the internet, it's very easy. I can just connect like this. Wow, just like a legit user, you know, I can open a connection. So easy because I planted a backdoor. So a backdoor is something like I already come here before. So I place a marker here so that the next time I want to come back to the same destination, it is easier. I don't have to go through antivirus and the firewall parameter anymore. I just get it as a legit connections. Alright, so that's what Trojan horse do to your machines. Okay. Now, in fact, you might be thinking, you download so many files that I have uploaded. Maybe, just maybe, I can also go into your machine already. Yeah, I don't want to be so, I don't want to say that because I really don't do that. If you think I can do that, then I'm also happy. Okay, so that is Trojan. Okay. So now you know like how to hide only lor. That's why for me, another more relatable example is when I go to GSC, I always hide my McChicken inside my bag because GSCs don't let me bring outside food other than their popcorn, which doesn't taste so good. So I always hide a McDonald's burger inside my bag and get into the cinema to watch Avengers. So that is like a Trojan horse. And that is also the reason why I always watch movie with girl, because girl bring handbag. It's easy for them to bring things inside. They don't really check what is inside your handbag one. Okay. Never mind. You have many malware in your PC. What can I get from you? Okay, we are going to explain this one. Let me finish this. Then we stop here. Next Monday is very cool. Next Monday, I say that every class. Okay, next Monday I will explain your assignment. And then I show you how to find the secret that I hide. Okay. Now, for those people who are free, no people is dating you, no people is asking you out. This weekend you can try this. Okay. Try Hack Me Challenge number 3. I hide a lot of secret. Let me see how many secret you can find. And then on Monday, I will show you how I solve all the other challenges. Okay, now let's continue with ransomware. So ransomware is, as you can guess from the name, it will hold you ransom. Ransomware is very popular because it just happened very recently, I think 1 or 2 years ago, and it's a very big news. Every time you turn on any tech news, they are reporting about this ransomware called a WannaCry. Okay, I'm not sure whether you have heard of that, but WannaCry is very troublesome. When it happens, many companies are infected. So now we want to learn what does this ransomware do, how does they work. Okay, for example, I have a file tree here. Okay, then I got infected by ransomware. So what ransomware does is he will take the file and then they encrypt the file. So for example, this is the file tree here. Then you see, okay, now he tried to encrypt the file. So now the file tree is locked. Okay, then when I want to open the file, for example, this is a text file, then I use my notepad to open the file. I get a message, error message, file is locked, cannot open, contact who to unlock. So this is ransomware. So what they actually do is, they take any of your file, they encrypt your file with their key, okay? And then it become a cipher, lock. Now, as a legit user, as the original owner, I want to open my own file also cannot because now it's locked by other people's key. Okay, so the only thing I can do now is I have to contact this guy here. They will normally put their IP or their payment here. Call them, pay them money, then they decrypt for you using their key. Because it's encrypted using their key, only they can decrypt. Okay, now this is very sad actually because this is my file. Why I have to pay money to other people to use my own file is a bit sad. So if you don't want to pay money, what can you do? Use John the Ripper and try to crack the file. Don't pay people unnecessary money. Pay that to me. Donate to my channel better. Okay, then I make more video for you. And yeah, this is, come back to this is ransomware. So the whole idea of ransomware is to hold you ransom. You will have to pay some money to get the code to unlock the file. But anyway, if you have money, it can solve everything. So money, in fact, can buy happiness. Okay, that's what I want to believe. If you have money, it solves so many problems. And also that's the reason I'm not really happy because I don't have enough money. Okay, yeah. So that is ransomware. Now the last tool for today. Can you give me 5 more minutes? 5 more minutes, and then I'll be settled. Okay. So what is a rootkit? Okay, rootkit is, I can tell you, the mother of all malware. So we have learned virus, we have learned worms, we have learned Trojan. Each of them are different in their own way. They are good in their own way. We have also learned about ransomware. Now, combine all of them together. You combine all of them together, you get rootkit. So rootkit is like the avenger of virus, the avenger of malware. Everyone combined together to try to hack a system. That is a rootkit. So it's a collection of different malware for the same purpose and attack. And it harbors all different malware into one single attack kit. So why is called a kit? Kit is like a collection of program. So now this is a collection of virus. And you think if virus is powerful, you have to now deal with virus and malware and worms and Trojan together. It's even more troublesome. Okay, so it has all the properties of all different malwares that we see combined because it combines everything. So how this is powerful is very hard to detect. Okay, so even you are infected by rootkit, I can only say I'm so sorry because it's very hard for you to fix this. The solutions most of the time is you have to just format your PC because rootkit, once it get in, it will get your root access. It becomes the admin. It becomes the root user. And as you can guess, if I'm a root user, I gain full access, to your PC. Think of the thing that I can do. So normally, if you got this thing, I'm so sorry, okay. Now, in fact, another thing I want you to know is rootkit. How it gets the name is by the thing that it do. So rootkit means that I am an attacker. I try to attack into your system and I try to gain root access. So in Linux, you know root access is the power user. It's the admin who control everything. So now if I come into the system, I'm just a normal user, I cannot do so much. So I want to gain access to your kernel space as a root user, then I can control the whole system. So this is what is called a rootkit. It's for us to gain root access for all other systems that we are trying to have. Okay, now some question time before I finish with the last example. So nuclear code make the world better. Pay 100 Bitcoin to unlock. I think this guy also had people before. Kim sent them the code. No lah, I think Kim Nuclear cannot even get out from his own front yard. He's just trying to scare you. Sign MOU with them settle. Why Kim? Why you work like some people always sign MOU but didn't do anything? Okay. Any more question? Nothing is real question. Does it still work if you shut down the device? Okay. Rootkit once is infected is always there. You shut down is still there. You remove your antivirus still there because the attacker already become you. So you cannot kick him out anymore. Okay. Yeah, like I say, don't worry about the attendance. I will fix attendance for you one. Okay, just sometimes I will put it here, but today cannot cannot get the QR code. Okay, so now what happened when you get infected by rootkit? Normally you see something like this, deng. Then even worse, because normally you deng 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 like that. Okay, if you have something like this, then you know you're infected by rootkit. Okay, I think this slide no sound lah, but you can hear the sound coming from this slide when I do this. Okay, let me add the sound effect, deng 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 deng. So yeah, that is what happened when you get infected. Okay, so last one of the day is about malware. So, it's about adware. Adware is something very simple. Okay, because adware is something that we always get attacked with. Now, adware is not really harmful. In fact, it's server-sided. So, adware will not really plant anything in your storage or plant anything in your memory. It's server-sided means that when you browse a website, then he show, congratulations, you win iPhone 13. Or congratulations, you win this and that. Okay, I never felt so lucky before really. Like once you are infected with adware, you get so many things. One day you can win one iPhone, one car, one family trip. I never felt so lucky in my life. Okay, so in fact I don't really care adware. I think adware is a friend. Adware know me better than my own friend. Adware know what I like. If today I tell you about the new MacBook Pro, M1 Pro, M1 Max, tomorrow that appear on my newsfeed. Because Google is always listening, adware is always listening. So in fact, they know us better. Adware is not really harmful. You know, if you don't like this, just use an ad blocker. Then they won't show up. So in fact, this is not really a virus. This is not a virus. This is just a kind of malware that is not really malicious. Okay. Now, then you have spyware. Spyware is the last one tonight. Spyware, is it a malware? Yes, actually yes. Now, spyware, most popular spyware is a keylogger. So what this thing do is, keyword now, you can two ways lah. You can install a keylogger on a machines, and then you give the PC to one people. If the people start to use the machines, then you can spy on him. Or you can also remotely start a keylogger. So what the keylogger do is very simple. You will see the full example in your lab 3. So it means that you want to know what people is typing. So for example, I have a keylogger. Then I run the keylogger program. Okay, of course, if you run it, you might want to hide it somewhere so people don't know that you're running a keylogger. Then what it do is just monitoring the keystroke. So if I type A, B, C, D, E, then the attacker know that you type A, B, C, D, E because a keylogger is running on the I/O. So the keylogger actually attack here. Okay, whatever that you do, you click your mouse, you type on your keyboard, even touch screen, if you touch, they will capture inside the keylogger app. Okay, and whatever you type, I will know. So if you type your username and password in a machine that is infected by a keylogger, then the guy will know what you type. Alright, now the full example will be shown in the lab 3. You will actually do one practical on Keylogger. Okay, so now if you think that, do I load Keylogger to you? So is Adware same as Scareware? What is a Scareware? I never heard of Scareware before. Is it special edition of Adware for Halloween? But you teach me something new. I don't know what is a Scareware. But anyway, the spyware slide, no need lah, just look at here. Okay, so this is spyware, right? In fact, do you think I'll give you a spyware? You download so many of my OVA file. Maybe spyware is already running. Like, I can prove to you, I know Jojo Plus just type O game on his keyboard. I know YOLO just type someone please make a readware on his keyboard. See? Correct or not? So that is spyware. Okay, but I'm, like I say, not a pro hacker. I'm just reading from the YouTube chat. Okay, it's not really that I have a spyware running, but yeah, that is how spyware works. Okay, so if we stop here and Monday come back again, I show you how to find all the challenge, how to solve all the challenge and find all the secret that I have for you. Okay, so enjoy your lab this week. I see you again on Monday 12. Bye bye.